Hello everyone, I'm Jannati and today we're going to have the third lesson on probability. In this video, we're going to learn tree diagrams. So let's start. How do we use tree diagrams in probability? Each node on the tree diagram represents an event and is associated with the probability of that event. So let's take the example of tossing a coin 2 times. When we toss a coin, the probabilities are heads or tails. Remember that the branches when added together makes 1. The sum of the branches must be 1. Here in the first toss there are 2 possible outcomes, heads or tails. So as there are 2 possible outcomes, one of them is heads. So that's why the probability of getting heads is 1 by 2. As there are 2 possible outcomes and one of them is heads. Same with tails. One of the possible outcomes is tails and there are 2 possible outcomes. So it is 1 by 2. Now see, if you add 1 by 2 and 1 by 2, we get 1. So if you add the branches, you'll get 1. Now this is for the first coin toss. If I get heads in the first coin toss and then I toss the coin again there are 2 probabilities, heads or tails. If I get heads the first round and then I toss the coin again, then again I'll have 2 possibilities, heads or tails. And there will be 2 possible outcomes and one of them is heads, and there are 2 possible outcomes and one of them is tails. Similarly, if I get tails in the first coin toss, I'll have 2 possible outcomes for the second coin toss, heads and tails. The possible outcomes are 2, and out of those, one of them is heads and the other one is tails. So the possible outcome is 1 by 2. These probabilities can be written in decimal also. It can be either written in fraction or written in decimal. This is the tree diagram for tossing a coin 2 times. A tree diagram can be of 2 types, with replacement or without replacement. This is the first question, so let's try to solve it. A bag contains 8 blue discs and 3 green discs. One disc is removed at random, then replaced. Another disc is then removed. A. Draw the tree diagram and show all the outcomes. Find the probability that both discs are blue, both discs are green, one disc is blue and other is green. So here there are 8 blue discs and 3 green discs. That means there are 11 discs in total. And there are 2 options. So the tree diagram will have 2 options in the first round, blue and green. Here there are 8 blue discs and the total number of discs are 11. 8 plus 3, 11. So the probability that the disc might be blue is 8 by 11. 8 by 11. And the probability that the disc might be green is 3 by 11. This is for the first round. And for the second round, if the person gets blue in the first round, it has been replaced. That means after it was removed, it was placed back. So everything remains the same. Again, they will have 2 choices, blue or green. And the probability that it might be blue is 8 by 11. As in the first round, when the disc was removed, it was placed back. So again, in the second round, if the person gets blue in the first round and then they remove another one again, they would have a choice between blue and green. So the probability that it might be blue is 8 by 11 and the probability that it might be green is 3 by 11. Same with when the person gets green in the first round. If the person gets green in the first round, then they replaced it, that means after they removed it, they put it back. Then they would have a option between blue and green again in the second round. And they had 3 green discs, so and the total amount of discs are 11. So the probability that it might be green is 3 by 11 and the probability that it might be blue is 8 by 11, as there are 8 blue discs and the total amount of discs are 11. And this is for the second round. Find the probability that both discs are blue. Both discs are blue means this branch and this branch. In case of that, we will multiply. Both discs are blue, so we will multiply 8 by 11 and 8 by 11. We will multiply this together, blue and blue. So this will be 64 by 121. And then number C, both discs are green. So both discs are green, that means in the first round they removed 8 green discs and in the second round they also removed 8 green discs. So what is the probability of that? Find it, we will multiply the first option. Probability for that is 3 by 11. So we will multiply 3 by 11 with the second one, which is also 3 by 11. So 3 by 11, it will be 9 by 121. And then number D, one disc is blue and other is green. This means that they got a blue and a green disc. There can be 2 options. They either got blue in the first round and green in the second round, or they got green in the first round and blue in the second round. The probability of that is first blue and green. So blue, the probability of getting blue in the first round is 8 by 11 and the probability of getting green is 3 by 11. Or the other option might be they got green in the first round, which is 3 by 11, and they got blue in the second round, which is 8 by 11. When we have options, we then add the 2 options together. So 24 by 121 plus 3 by 11 multiplied with 8 by 11 is 24 by 121 again. So if we add these 2 fractions together, then we'd get 48 by 121, which is our answer. So the probability of getting both discs blue is 64 by 121. The probability of getting both discs green is 9 by 121. And the probability that one disc is blue and the other is green is 48 by 121. So this is an example of replacement. But if in this same exact question the discs weren't replaced after being removed, then the probabilities would have been different. We are going to learn without replacement in our next maths lesson. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to like this video if you find it helpful. Also check out our lesson a day on Facebook and Instagram. The link will be in the description box below. Bye.